San Jose, California, July 8, 2003. Dispatchers received a strange call. On the line was a young girl, her voice trembling, her breath unsteady, spelling out her address, one letter at a time. No one on the call could have imagined the horror unfolding behind her soft voice. She had been kidnapped, and the man who took her was forcing her to speak. This is the powerful true story of Jeannette Tamayo, a 9-year-old girl who endured 3 days of unimaginable trauma and still had the courage, intelligence, and presence of mind to fight her way out. It was a warm summer afternoon in San Jose, California. Jeannette, a shy, kind-hearted 9-year-old, had just gotten off the school bus. Like any other day, she made her way home, backpack in hand, unaware of what lay ahead. As she reached her front door, she noticed something odd. The screen door was slightly open. Maybe her mom had returned from work early, she thought, but when she entered, something didn't feel right. The house was quiet, too quiet. She walked to her bedroom and froze. The window was shattered. Glass lay everywhere. Instinct kicked in. She ran to the phone to call her mother, but the line was dead. Someone had cut the cable, and then came the knock. At the door stood a man she didn't recognize. He looked inside, asked questions, tried to act calm. But Jeannette sensed something was wrong. As she tried to close the door, he forced his way in. He grabbed her, dragged her into her brother's room. And what followed was a terrifying assault. Out of respect, we won't go into the graphic details, but the trauma she experienced was life-altering. After the assault, the man handcuffed her, tied her legs, and carried her into the garage. He shoved her into his car, ready to vanish without a trace. But fate had other plans. As he tried to flee, Jeannette's mother Rosalia and her teenage brother Paul arrived home. Paul, just 15, slid under the garage door. Jeannette, handcuffed in the car, begged him to run. But her abductor stepped out and charged at Paul, beating him violently. Rosalia tried to intervene. Paul grabbed a frying pan, trying to protect his mom, but the attacker turned the weapon against her, hitting her again and again. Jeannette sat helplessly in the car, bound, crying, and horrified, convinced her family was dead. Her captor laughed at her fear. With blood on his face, he sped away from the home. But Jeannette glanced back and saw something miraculous. Her mother, wounded, bloodied, was running behind the car. Her brother limped toward the street, screaming for help. They were alive. That gave her strength. Jeannette was taken to a second location, a house in East Palo Alto. Inside, the man led her up a flight of stairs into a locked room with a bed, a TV, and a bathroom. This would be her prison. Her attacker would handcuff her to the shower head, turn on the water, and leave her there. Ironically, this became her only place of peace, the only time he wouldn't hurt her. Back home, police were trying to piece things together. But the quality of the surveillance footage was poor, and California law didn't allow an Amber Alert without more identifying details, name, vehicle, or license plate. The Tamayo family was devastated. No leads, no alerts, just waiting and hoping. But Jeannette wasn't giving up. On her second day in captivity, Jeannette's fear began to turn into resolve. She thought about every episode of CSI and Law and Order she had seen with her brother. She remembered how detectives always looked for evidence, for fingerprints, for anything. So she began to play along. She smiled at her kidnapper, asked him where he was from, tried to make him think she wasn't a threat. And it worked. For the first time, he smiled back. Then came an unexpected moment. He handed her a cell phone and made her call a pizza place. She gave the number, the address, and memorized every word of what he told her to say. If she got out, she would use this information to bring him down. Later that night, the pizza arrived, along with a missing person flyer. Her face was on it. Her attacker smirked. "I have to get rid of you tonight," he said. But Jeannette wasn't done fighting yet. She knew she had only a few hours left, so she got to work. She unlocked her handcuffs, carefully, quietly. She took his watch from the nightstand. She grabbed a clay toy, her underwear for DNA evidence, and stuffed it all into a pizza box, hiding it under the bed. When he returned, she pretended to still be cuffed. He didn't notice. But that night, he tried to suffocate her with a pillow. Gasping for air, Jeannette used all her strength to shift her face and catch a breath. He paused, then asked, "Do you want a shower?" She nodded. That shower saved her life. On the third day, her captor suddenly decided to release her. He threatened her, said if she ever told anyone, he'd kill her and her family. He drove her to a liquor store and dropped her off. Inside, the cashier recognized her from the news. He handed her the phone and called police. Jeannette was finally safe. Detective Heather Randall rushed to the scene. Jeannette pulled out the evidence she'd hidden in her pockets. Then she drew a map, gave a phone number, recalled every street turn, every detail. She didn't just survive, she remembered everything to help the police find him. With Jeannette's map and the pizza order, police closed in on the house. The suspect, David Montiel Cruz, tried to hide in the attic. SWAT raided the home. He resisted, but was arrested and charged with multiple felony counts, including rape, kidnapping, and attempted murder. Inside the home, police found the pizza box. Everything was exactly where Jeannette said it would be. Her bravery had stopped a predator. Jeannette was taken to the hospital, where she reunited with her family. Despite her injuries, her first words were about them, not herself. She was worried about her mom's wounds, and about Paul. She carried deep trauma in the years that followed. For a long time, she wouldn't leave the house, couldn't speak to men, couldn't feel safe. But over time, through therapy, family, and her own strength, she began to heal. Years later, she reunited with Detective Randall, and she told her the words that mattered most. "Thank you for helping me." Jeannette didn't stop there. She made a decision to study law enforcement. She now works to become a detective, inspired by the woman who helped save her life. Jeannette Tamayo's story is not just about tragedy. It's about strength, intelligence, and courage beyond her years. At just 9 years old, she faced evil and refused to let it define her. She didn't freeze. She didn't break. She fought smart, and she won. In her words, "No matter what life throws at us, we're all fighters. We all have the ability to keep going. I turned my fear into courage, and I got my family back."